Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we travel back to a quiet medieval kingdom where stone castles stood above misty valleys and every whispered rumor seemed to echo through the halls of history. Settle into a comfortable place, relax your breathing, and let the story unfold at its own gentle pace. Long ago, beyond dense forests and winding rivers, there stood the peaceful kingdom of Alderwin. It was neither the richest nor the largest realm, yet people remembered it for its calm fields, ancient towers, and a queen unlike any other. Her name was Queen Eleanor. She ruled with patience rather than fear, kindness rather than anger, and wisdom instead of pride. To the people, she appeared calm every single day. She attended ceremonies, greeted travelers, listened to farmers, and walked through the royal gardens with a quiet smile. Yet behind those peaceful eyes rested a secret she had carried for many long years. No servant, noble, or trusted advisor knew the whole truth. The queen often climbed the tallest tower before sunrise. From there, she watched the morning mist drift across the valley as if searching for answers hidden in the clouds. Those who noticed her silent habit believed she was simply enjoying the beauty of dawn. They never imagined she was remembering a promise made long ago, a promise that would shape the fate of the kingdom until her very last day. As the castle bells welcomed another peaceful morning, Queen Eleanor folded an old letter, locked it inside a carved wooden chest, and quietly whispered, "Not yet." The story of that hidden truth was only beginning.
Many years before Queen Eleanor wore the royal crown, she was simply Princess Eleanor, a thoughtful young woman who preferred old libraries and quiet gardens to grand celebrations. While others dreamed of jewels and royal banquets, she found comfort in ancient books that spoke of forgotten kingdoms and the passing of time. One cool autumn afternoon, the princess rode with a small group of trusted guards to the edge of the old forest. The towering oak trees had stood there for centuries, and villagers believed the woods remembered every generation that had walked beneath their branches. The air was still, filled only with bird song and the gentle rustling of leaves. Deep within the forest lived an elderly monk in a humble stone cottage. He was respected throughout the kingdom for his wisdom and gentle nature. Eleanor often visited him to learn about history, leadership, and the quiet responsibilities that came with power. During that visit, the monk placed a small wooden box into her hands. It was beautifully carved with symbols of stars, rivers, and a single white rose. His voice was calm as he spoke. "One day," he said, "you will face a choice that no ruler wishes to make. Whatever you decide, protect this box until the final days of your life. Open it only when the kingdom no longer needs your silence." Eleanor accepted the box and gave her word. She did not yet understand why such a promise mattered, but she knew that some promises become part of history long before their meaning is revealed. As the sun disappeared behind the ancient trees, the young princess began her journey back to the castle, carrying a secret whose true purpose remained hidden in the quiet shadows of the forest.
The seasons quietly passed, and the peaceful rhythm of life in Alderwyn continued. Princess Eleanor spent her days studying the laws of the kingdom, listening to the stories of travelers, and learning from the experienced members of the royal council. She never imagined that her life would change so suddenly. One cold winter morning, heavy clouds covered the sky as church bells echoed across the capital. King Aldrin, Eleanor's father, had fallen seriously ill after many years of faithful rule. The palace became unusually silent. Servants walked softly through the long stone corridors, and candles burned day and night beside the king's chamber. Despite the efforts of the royal physicians, the king peacefully passed away before the first light of dawn. The entire kingdom entered a period of mourning. Markets closed, banners were lowered, and families gathered to remember a ruler who had guided the realm through many peaceful years. Only a few days later, Eleanor stood beneath the great cathedral's high ceiling as the ancient crown was gently placed upon her head. She did not smile during the ceremony. Instead, she looked across the faces of her people with quiet determination, knowing that every decision she made would shape countless lives. That same evening, after the celebrations had ended and the castle had grown still once again, the new queen walked alone to her private chamber. Waiting inside was the carved wooden box she had promised to protect years before. She rested her hand upon its smooth surface, but did not open it. The monk's words returned to her heart like a distant echo. Only when the kingdom no longer needs your silence. Queen Eleanor quietly locked the box away once more, unaware that the secret hidden inside would one day become the greatest mystery in the history of Alderwyn.
Winter arrived earlier than usual that year. Snow covered the castle walls, the quiet gardens, and the winding roads leading into Alderwyn. Smoke rose gently from village chimneys, while the frozen river reflected the pale light of the afternoon sun. Everything seemed peaceful, yet the passing of time could be felt everywhere. Queen Eleanor had grown old. Her silver hair rested beneath a simple velvet hood, and her steps had become slower than before. Even so, she continued to greet her people with the same gentle smile that had comforted the kingdom for decades. The royal physician noticed her growing weakness, but admired her calm spirit. "Your Majesty," he said softly, "you have carried the weight of this kingdom for many years. It is time to rest." The queen smiled kindly. "There is only one duty left." That evening, she climbed the familiar tower once again. Snowflakes drifted quietly through the cold air as she looked across the sleeping kingdom. The lights of distant homes glowed warmly against the darkness, reminding her of every family she had hoped to protect. Returning to her chamber, she unlocked the hidden cabinet for what felt like the final time. The carved wooden box remained exactly as it had for so many years. With gentle hands, She placed it upon a small oak table beside a blank sheet of parchment. Instead of opening the box, she dipped a feather quill into dark ink and began writing a letter addressed to the future ruler of Alduin. Outside, the wind whispered softly against the castle windows. Inside, Queen Eleanor knew that the moment she had prepared for all her life was finally drawing near. Soon, the silence she had guarded for decades would come to an end, and the truth would no longer belong to her alone.
For 3 quiet evenings, Queen Eleanor remained in her private chamber, writing by the gentle glow of a single candle. She paused often, choosing each word with great care, as though every sentence would one day become part of the kingdom's memory. Outside, snow continued to fall over Alderwin. The palace was unusually peaceful. Servants spoke in soft voices, and even the footsteps in the stone corridors seemed lighter than before. When the letter was finally complete, the queen folded it carefully and sealed it with the royal crest. She placed it beside the carved wooden box and called for Master Edwin, the elderly librarian who had served the royal family for most of his life. As he entered, Eleanor smiled warmly. "My old friend," she said, "you have protected the history of this kingdom for many years. Soon I must ask you to protect one final story." Master Edwin bowed respectfully. "I will do as you wish, Your Majesty." The queen rested her hand upon the wooden box. "When my journey has ended, gather the royal council. Read my letter before anyone opens this box. The truth inside was never hidden for power or glory. It was hidden because the kingdom needed peace more than certainty." The old librarian nodded, though he still did not know what the box contained. That night, the castle bells remained silent. A calm wind moved through the ancient towers, carrying with it the quiet feeling that history itself was waiting. After a lifetime of patience, the moment of revelation was finally close, and Queen Eleanor faced it with the same gentle courage that had guided her reign from the very beginning. A few mornings later, the first light of dawn touched the snow-covered towers of Alderwin. The castle remained unusually still. Queen Eleanor had peacefully passed away during the night, her hands resting gently upon a folded blanket, her face calm as though she had simply fallen into a quiet sleep. The bells of the great cathedral rang slowly across the kingdom. Their deep sound drifted through forests, across frozen rivers, and into distant villages. Farmers paused their work, merchants closed their shops, and travelers removed their hats in silent respect. The queen who had ruled with wisdom and kindness for so many years was gone. Following her final instructions, Master Edwin gathered the royal council inside the ancient library. On the oak table rested the sealed letter and the carved wooden box that no one had ever been allowed to open. The room was silent as Edwin carefully broke the royal seal. His steady voice echoed through the library. "If you are hearing these words, my time has ended. Do not judge my silence before you understand the reason behind it. Some truths can save a kingdom, while the same truths
spoken too early, can destroy it. Every member of the council listened without moving. The Queen's final message did not ask for praise or forgiveness. Instead, it asked only for patience, wisdom, and compassion before the box was opened. Outside, gentle snow continued to fall over Alderwyn, while inside the castle, history stood quietly at the edge of its greatest revelation. The secret that had remained hidden for an entire lifetime was only moments away from being seen for the very first time.
For several long moments, no one in the library spoke. The only sound was the quiet crackling of the fireplace as Master Edwin rested his hands upon the carved wooden box. The counselors exchanged uncertain glances, aware that they were about to witness a moment unlike any recorded in the history of Alderwyn. With slow and careful movements, Edwin lifted the ancient lid. Inside, there was no crown, no treasure, and no map to forgotten riches. Instead, the box contained a worn leather journal, a faded parchment, and a small white rose, carefully pressed between two pages. Time had changed their colors, but not their meaning. Edwin unfolded the parchment and began to read. Many years before Eleanor became queen, the kingdom had stood on the edge of a bitter civil conflict. Two noble families had each claimed the right to the throne. If the truth about the royal bloodline had been revealed at that time, the kingdom would almost certainly have been divided by war. Rather than allowing thousands of innocent people to suffer, Eleanor and a handful of trusted guardians chose another path. They agreed to protect the fragile peace by keeping the complete truth hidden until the danger had long passed. She accepted that history might never fully understand her decision. She knew some would question her silence, yet she believed that preserving peace was a greater duty than defending her own reputation. As Master Edwin finished reading, the room remained silent. No one felt anger. Instead, they understood the enormous burden Queen Eleanor had carried alone for nearly a lifetime. Outside, the winter clouds slowly parted, and gentle sunlight fell across the castle walls, as though the kingdom itself had quietly accepted the truth at last. After the truth became known, the people of Alderwyn gathered not in anger, but in quiet reflection. The story spread slowly from village to village, carried by travelers, teachers, and old storytellers who spoke beside warm fireplaces during the long winter nights. Some believed Queen Eleanor should have revealed everything years earlier. Others understood why she had remained silent. Yet nearly everyone agreed on one thing. Because the kingdom had been spared from civil war, generations of families had lived peaceful lives they might otherwise have lost. Master Edwin carefully placed the journal, the parchment, and the pressed white rose inside the royal archives. He ordered that nothing be changed or hidden again,
Future kings and queens would be free to read every page and decide for themselves what true leadership meant. In time, a simple stone monument was raised in the castle garden. It carried no grand titles and no long list of victories. Instead, only a few quiet words were carved into the weathered stone. Peace is sometimes protected by the burdens no one else can see. Visitors often paused there in silence. They admired the ancient trees, listened to the gentle songs of birds, and wondered what choice they might have made if they had carried the same responsibility. As the years turned into centuries, Queen Eleanor's life became less a tale of mystery and more a lesson in compassion, patience, and sacrifice. History remembered that even the wisest rulers could never choose between easy paths, only between difficult ones. And now, as our journey through Alderwyn gently comes to an end, the castle grows quiet once more. The evening wind moves softly through the old towers, the stars shine above the peaceful valley, and the echoes of the Queen's story slowly fade into the calm night. Thank you for joining this peaceful walk through history. May its quiet lessons stay with you, and may the rest of your evening be calm, restful, and filled with gentle dreams.